call to order our regular city council meeting for May 1st, 2018. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Roll call. Sylvia?
Mayor Mays?
Here.
Council President Garland?
Here.
Councilor Kuiper?
Here.
Councilor Young? Here. Councilor Browse?
Here.
Councilor Griffin?
Here.
Councilor Rosner?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have 3 items on we have approval of the agenda. Any comments, corrections, changes to the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda this evening. Item A, approval of the April 17th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes. Item B, Resolution 2018-036, authorizing a change in the title of the Telecommunications Fund to the Broadband Fund. And item C, Resolution 2018-037, approve and ratify a successor collective bargaining agreement and letter of agreement between the City of Sherwood and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreements. Any motion on the consent?
Make motion to approve consent.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Discussion on the motion to approve. Any motion or any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Next item is citizen comments. An opportunity to address council on any item on the agenda or any item not on the agenda. Love to hear what you have to say.
Mayor and council, I have no sheets.
No sheets? Wonderful. It's okay. Come on forward. You can turn in the sheet maybe before or after. It's quite all right. Welcome.
Thank you. My name, I'll wait till I get the mic. Let's go with that. My name's Carol DeForio, and I'm with Family Promise of Tualatin Valley. Many of you have probably received an email from us talking about our program and what we're doing in the community. Family Promise is a program for homeless children and their families. We created this outreach effort and this nonprofit completely volunteer-based because we believe that the students in our community, when they're in a state of homelessness, need to stay in their community, in their school, surrounded by the people who support them. And we want to build a program that allows for that. And this program does allow for that. It has both day and evening resources for these families, and keeps them in their home until they find a new home, and we help them do that. One of the things that we find is amazing is that people don't understand how many children are homeless. We have, in our 3 school districts that we're looking to serve, which is Sherwood, Lake Oswego, and Tigard and Tualatin School District, there are 270 homeless students. That does not count siblings under the age of 5, and it does not count students who are no longer in school. So those are the programs, those are the kids that we're hoping to serve. In Washington County and Clackamas County together, there are 17 rooms for homeless families, and they're all in Washington County. And I know Renee is familiar with some of the things that we have done because we are looking for resources within our communities to serve these kids. Today, what we're hoping to do is just continue to raise the awareness of this issue within our community and encourage the council and the mayor to support us and recognize the efforts that we're making for the students in this district as well as the other districts. We're asking for acknowledgement of our new fundraiser. Our fundraiser, it's our first fundraiser. We are a new group. We are a leadership team of about 10 people, plus our own friends and our own community members that we have reached out to. And we're doing a fundraiser at the end of May, and it's called Drive In, Sleep Out. and it gives individuals and teams and city councils and mayors a chance to sleep in the parking lot at Tigard High School for one night and experience in the very littlest of way what it is to not have a home for one night. At the same time, we know it's a fundraiser and we want their kids to come out. And so there's a barbecue and there's kids games and there's live music and there's also a movie in the Tiger Gym. And the evening comes down to sleeping in your car overnight. In the morning when you wake up, which will probably be pretty early, as soon as the sun comes up or the rain comes down, there's a light breakfast served. And it's definitely a fundraiser. I mean, we're looking to raise funds. This program costs about $120,000 a year to run, and those funds only go toward 3 staffers, which is a caseworker, a director, and a driver, and a location, which is another area where the council can help us with, is to find a day center for our families during the day. During the day, every evening for 7 nights in a row, you sleep at a host location, which can be a church or a civic organization. You go there at 5 o'clock at night. You are served dinner by the volunteers. You stay overnight. In the morning, our transportation brings you back to the day center, which is a location that is Family Promise. And at the day center, your children are picked up for school and taken to school, or you go to work. If you are not working or you need help try to figure out what it is that got you into the position you're in and how to get out of it, our caseworker and our director will help you do that at the day center. If you have a small child, that person's there with you too. You're making your own food there at that time during the day. And at night, your kids come home after school, they get dropped off there. And then at 5:30, our van takes you back to the church that you'll be staying with at that night. To wrap that, this fundraiser is really, we're calling it 4321, which is 4 cities, Tigard, Walton, Sherwood, and Lake Oswego, 3 school districts, 2 counties, and 1 focus cause. And so we hope for your support in that and using your channels for information sharing, social media, to get out the word that this is a community event that you're behind. And we will follow up after in emails and phone calls to look for your support of a letter and also a media contact during our event.
Great. And you have some flyers to...
We have some flyers. I don't know where should I put them.
So if you just give a few to the chief and he'll pass them down, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address council? Going once, going twice. We will thank you again. We'll move to presentations. First, always exciting to acknowledge outstanding youth in our community. And in one of those big categories is our Eagle Scouts, new Eagle Scouts, and Alexander McLeod. If you'd come forward. And if you'd take a seat and introduce yourself and talk about your Eagle Scout project.
Okay, I will.
If you would.
So my name is Alexander McLeod, but I go by Alec just because it's a bit shorter and easier to get sometimes. For my Eagle project, I built several picnic tables for the Sherwood Friends Church. The previous ones they had there were in a state of atrophy, so I saw the need in the community and decided to take that upon myself and did that for my Eagle Scout project.
Outstanding. And about how many hours were spent and how many other scouts or volunteers did you rally to your cause?
A total of about 135 hours were spent on the project, and at one point there was about 6 of us working on it. So,
outstanding. And are your parents here today?
yes, my mother is here.
Well, hi, proud mom. Great job. And on behalf of the entire community and the city council, I want to congratulate you and give you a certificate of achievement. Let me read it, and then I'll bring it to you. A certificate of achievement is presented to Alec McLeod on behalf of the city of Sherwood and the Sherwood City Council. We congratulate you on your outstanding achievement of attaining the rank of Eagle Scout.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question for him?
Yeah, so how did you come up with that particular project?
Okay, so I attended Sherwood Charter School, and I remember eating outside at those tables for quite some time. And remember when I was there, they were in pretty good shape, but remember, very splintery and stuff like that, but still fantastic being able to eat outside, and always loved that. And I just thought that it would be great to be able to put something there that was even better than what I experienced.
Nice.
So
And how many did you build?
I built a total of 3.
Okay, good.
So I've known Alex since kindergarten. He's just a fantastic
This is going to take a minute.
adult because he's not really a kid anymore. But didn't you make those benches out of something other than wood this time? And did you get that donated from somewhere?
Yes, I built it using composite decking for the seating area along with the table. And all of that was donated by the fantastic building materials resource here in Sherwood.
Thank you, Wangerts.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Great job.
Congratulations.
Next, time to introduce our new Sherwood Police Sergeant. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's my pleasure to introduce Sergeant Randy Johnson. I'm going to have him come forward and let him tell you a little bit about his history and his experience with Sherwood PD. But Randy was just recently promoted in, 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago?
Close enough.
Time flies.
It's a blur.
Yeah. And so we had, as you recall, we had some leadership positions to fill, and so we promoted our Captain Carlson, and then so we had a sergeant's position to fill, and we promoted Sergeant Johnson, and excited to have stripes. I am excited to have stripes on his sleeve. So why don't you just take a second and get everybody caught up on your tenure and your experience, and introduce anybody special that might be with you tonight.
My biggest fan and supporter, Alyssa, is right here. After the Marine Corps, which was right after high school, I followed my father's footsteps. He was a police sergeant for the Tiger Police, as you probably read in the Archer. But it was very, very challenging. It was very competitive to get hired as a police officer, and even with all my experience, I still had a hard time. And finally, the breakthrough happened when I was hired as a reserve here in 2000, and I busted my tail. My wife can attest to that. I was working full time, and I would come here after work all the time. I was doing transports for the officers. I got to know everybody in the community, and the officers here trusted me. And honestly, when it was my time, it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, they picked me up pretty quick, and I've been very happy here. I love the city of Sherwood. I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm happy that I'm finally in a position. This is the best position in police work, if you haven't already heard, because you can still go out and work the road and still get to mingle with the people. And you can still supervise, you can still lead, you can still do the other things, and it's a perfect mix, and I'm really happy. So,
Awesome. Yeah. Congratulations, Randy.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Any questions? Put him on the spot.
I had a question. I just was curious. In 2000, when you started as a reserve, when were you actually hired on?
April of 2000, I was hired as a reserve here, and then honestly, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months, but because of the budget and the police academy didn't have a slot available, I didn't start till January of 2001.
So what is the most exciting aspect of your new role as sergeant?
Tough one. I wasn't prepared for that in the sergeant process. I think honestly, just being able to really demonstrate what I've demonstrated throughout my career, and just point out some of the little things that helped me be successful. And as I understand it, I'm going to be taking over the FTO program, so I'll be in charge of the whole program. I'm really excited about that because I take a lot of pride in that, and I take a lot of pride in the way I train people and what you expect as citizens. So
Sergeant, FTO means?
That's what I was just asking.
Can you explain what FTO means?
Field training officer, I apologize. So we have several field training officers, and I will oversee them and the paperwork they do to document when the new recruits are on board and going through the process.
So we call it FTEP, Field Training and Evaluation Program. It's a state-supported program. It's pretty common. And as Randy said, we have FTOs or coaches, Randy was one of our most experienced coaches. So when brand new folks become police officers, we put them in the car with people that we trust to show them the ropes. Then we send them to the police academy. They come back, and then we kind of tweak things to make sure they know how we do stuff here in Sherwood. And then also, as you recall, in the work session, we talked, Officer Bertrand talked about the cadet program. So Sergeant Johnson is going to oversee reserves and cadets as well as part of his new assignment. So
You have a full plate,
I do.
but
And I'm going to do it while I'm on graveyard.
good for you.
Speechless.
Thank you again, Randy.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chief.
Next, we have a proclamation that I'd like to read. Proclamation, National Police Week, May 13th to 19th, 2018, and May 15th, 2018, as National Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas Congress and the President of the United States have designated the week of May 13th through 19th, 2018, as National Police Week, and whereas the men and women of the Sherwood Police Department provide a vital public service by safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the Sherwood community, whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence and disorder, and protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the safety of our citizens is the foremost goal of local, state, and national governments, whereas the ability to exercise the rights and freedoms as set forth by our forefathers depend on law and order, whereas law enforcement is one of the few chosen professions that require the willingness to lay down one's life to protect others, whereas the daily performance of a police officer's normal duty is dangerous, stress-filled, often underappreciated, if not unappreciated, and requires a person with a supportive family. And now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the City of Sherwood City Council, do hereby proclaim May 13th to 19th, 2018 as National Police Week and May 15th, 2018 as National Peace Officers Day in Sherwood, and urge all citizens to recognize and thank our law enforcement officers for their dedicated service they provide. Awesome. Thank you, Chief, for everything that you do and all of your officers do for our community. Moving on to new business. Resolution 2018-038, authorizing the city manager to sign a contract with Mark 43 to provide a new police records management system and related services. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So you have a staff report in front of you. I will hit a couple highlights from that and answer any questions you have once I get everything situated here. So we previously were a member of what was referred to as Region, which is the Regional Joint Information Network through an intergovernmental agreement, and it is a very large cooperative that we joined. It was the replacement of the Portland Police Data System, which Sherwood has used for quite a while. And it just hasn't turned out and delivered and developed into the system that we originally planned. And so it became obvious to us that it was in the best interest of our operations to find a replacement. So that's how the process began with Mark 43. You should know that we joined 3 other agencies in Washington County that are making the move to Mark 43. So this is not a decision that we're making in a vacuum, and certainly not issues that we were alone experiencing. So we've gone through the process. It's important also to note that the process, even before we began the process, city manager was aware, kept finance director aware, and then throughout the process, your city attorney has been an amazing resource, helping us get everything completed and the contract approved. So what this does is just provide a complete replacement records management system that we believe is much more effective and just going to be a much better system for the police department. We obviously have an opt-out clause that we have exercised and will be exercising to get us out of that IGA. So that's all taken care of. So we're ready to move forward. The financial impacts, at a baseline perspective, it's actually going to save us money, and which is then going to allow us to take advantage of their evidence component that they have as well. The current system we use for evidence is very outdated, and Brad has been telling us for a couple budget cycles that needs to be replaced because at some point it's going to quit working, and they can't. It's no longer supported. So this really provides us an opportunity to take care of that as well. So as I said, you've got the information in front of you, and certainly answer any questions, but at this point, respectfully request, those are two hard words, side by side, that you approve the resolution, and we'll get this contract going, and the new system will kick off January 1st for us, so we're excited. January 1st. So the contract actually will go into effect, but there needs to be a transition period that's required both by the new vendor to get us transitioned over, and then also based on the terms of the IGA. So we will actually start using the new system January 1st.
I just have a quick question. Yeah. So, Chief, does that means all the information from the existing platform will be migrated over, so no information will be lost?
That's correct. That's part of the transition.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. As for the records information data, as well as the evidence data. So all of our current evidence will be that data will be migrated into the new evidence system.
Good. And Chief, the $18,020, I'm assuming that's an annual cost. Does that include that transition service and training?
It includes some of it. It includes all the costs related to our new vendor, Mark 43. I don't know yet what things are going to look like from Region's perspective, if they're going to give us any billing for the transition. That's yet to be seen. The good news is, because we're doing this with 3 other agencies in Washington County, that there's going to be probably some efficiencies that we can gain through that. So I don't have a great answer for that yet, but certainly it's not going to be a burdensome cost, and it'll be something that'll be a one-time expense taken care of. So that's the best answer I can give you for that.
Perfect.
But it won't affect the ongoing cost.
Is there a training provided by Mark 43 on
Yep.
the new software? Okay.
Yep. Everything, it's every one price, everything included. And we've had, as it says in your staff report, we've had significant opportunity to explore this, have our staff explore it, have, your command team has looked into it, and it's just a much friendlier system for our folks to use. And I could get into details if you want, but it's just a much better system.
Outstanding. Other questions? Great. We have a resolution. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2018-038, authorizing the city manager to sign a contract with Mark 43 to provide a new police records management system and related services.
Second.
A great motion. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all in favor of approving the motion as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Chief. City Manager report.
Mayor and Council, I have 2 items. The first item, I kind of want to revisit just for 2 minutes or so the Family Promise program that the speaker during citizen comments mentioned. It's very positive to see this effort moving forward. I think throughout the past year, we've been watching and participating. Our police chaplain, Wilson Parrish, has been trying to attend the meetings and trying to stay involved at this effort, and it's good that it's moving forward. It is a national program, So this is a program that didn't just start here in Washington County, but there's a national model, and there's some very interesting information on their website. If you went to the Family Promise program and did some research, you can find out more of. It's all about partnership with existing partners. Hillsborough has a program that's been there for a number of years. Beaverton's a little ahead of us. They are going to be launching their program in the near future, but it sounds like we're catching up. So I wanted to fill in some of those blanks. They've kept us in the loop in terms of their efforts, and I think it's now accelerating a little bit with this event and fundraising and things like that. So it's a very interesting program, and I just wanted to let folks know that they have done a good job over the last year keeping us informed about what their efforts are about.
Beaverton did just launch too. They're open.
So the second item is just a reminder, the proposed budget for next year is out. It's on the city website. The budget committee got the proposed budget last Friday. Our first budget committee meeting is next Thursday in this room, 6 o'clock, correct, Katie?
That's correct.
Okay.
And also just a reminder that if you have questions on anything in it, they're due to me by Monday before the budget committee meeting, please. Thank you.
Not Thursday at 5?
Not Thursday at 5.
Preferably
thanks.
not. So, and I think the mayor in one of the last meetings encourages citizens to participate. Not that the work doesn't happen in June, but the real work is the budget committee in May. And we anticipate we have 3 nights scheduled. Hopefully we can get through everything in 3 nights. Sometimes it takes 4. But that process starts. So you're going to shift gears and really focus on the proposed budget in the next 30 days. So, and the public is encouraged to participate in that process. So that's all I had, unless you had questions for either myself or Katie. Did you have something else? Katie has something. Go ahead.
Just a reminder on that same note, for the public, last year there was some comment about the public not being involved enough. So I wanted to remind the public who's watching this that the public hearing regarding the use of state shared revenues is held on the first night of the budget committee meetings. We've included that on the notice that's on our website for the meeting, but just a reminder to anyone watching that we do have a public hearing that first night on the 10th for the proposed uses of state shared revenues.
Thank you for that reminder. Any questions for myself or department heads that are here in attendance?
Well, just one quick thing. I understand we have some more parking spaces available.
Yes, the parking lot, which has been under construction for a number of months, is now largely complete. I don't think the lights are in yet, but it was supposed to be open under the construction contract by the end of April, and we did get it striped, and the bike rack got replaced. You may have noticed it got dinged before.
It looked weird.
Yeah, that's why it looked weird, so they had to replace it. But the parking lot is open and available, and I encourage folks to use it, which some folks are definitely using it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Awesome. Other questions? Seeing
Thank
none?
you.
Thank you, Joe. Council announcements. Council President?
Sure, I'll go ahead and get started here, and I apologize, I have a few things to mention here.
Sounds good.
Last week I attended the Planning Commission. They had a work session, and the Sherwood School District was here, along with the planners, the architects for the new Sherwood High School, presenting some plans for that. That was really interesting to hear, and our Planning Commission had some great questions for them, and planning ahead for when this does come in front of the Planning Commission. It was great to see everybody working together to answer a lot of questions in advance. Speaking of Planning Commission, I had mentioned in the past that there were 2 openings on the Planning Commission. We're going to be naming 2 folks in the 15th, May 15th meeting, but I just wanted to also point out that we had 6 people that volunteered to interview for those positions, those 2 positions. So really, I'm a big cheerleader up here trying to get people to join our boards and commissions. So thank you to all those 6 candidates who did throw their name in the ring and came out and interviewed. Really quality candidates, so I'm really excited to get those 2 new folks on the Planning Commission. Last night, I attended the Willamette Intake Facilities kickoff meeting along with Councilor Rosner up in Beaverton, up at Tualatin Valley Water District. So it's a great group. I don't have their website in front of me, but it's about the the Willamette Intake Facility. which is a partnership with 6 cities and districts that will be working to really work on some of our water laminitic issues. I'm sorry for stumbling on my words here. A couple things to promote is, let's see, this Saturday, the 14th annual Art of the Storytelling Festival finale will be held at the Center for the Arts. Thank you. Terrible with this. So the reception starts at 6:15, and the actual showcase concert starts at 7 p.m., hosted by the Sherwood Public Library. It looks like it's going to be a great event. Check out the event on the Sherwood Library Facebook page if you're interested in more, and I think there's probably some signs outside here as well if you're interested in that. And on my last thing, I promise, on May 11th, there will be an Arbor Day planting event at 10:30 a.m. at Hopkins Elementary, and I'll be attending that, and that will be second graders. We'll be planting roughly 100 trees and plants. So if you've got some time on Friday, May 11th, and want to come out and plant some trees at 10:30.
Big trees.
Hopkins Elementary. So come out to continue our certification as Tree City USA. So
Awesome.
that's all I have. Thanks.
Councilor Kuiper, we'll
I'll
shake
be
it up.
brief, yeah. I only have one announcement, and that is the Bird Festival is coming to Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge, and that's May 19th from 10 to 4. And this year they are building birdhouses. So if you have, it's for all families. There's going to be a hay ride, and it's a great time to go walking out on the refuge because in the near future they will be realigning Chicken Creek, the old channel of Chicken Creek through there. So it will look a little bit different, bringing a lot more water to the wetland areas in the winter time. So it's a great time on May 19th to get out there and enjoy the refuge and see what it looks like now, and then come back maybe a year or two from now and see how it's changed. But yeah, 10 to 4. And that's all I have. Imagine that.
Awesome. Councilor Young.
Really shaking it up.
You are shaking it up.
All right, I last week attended, not last week, 2 weeks ago, attended the Police Advisory Board meeting. The highlight of that meeting was the board discussed topics to be tackled in 2018, and so they went around the room and each member suggested things that they would like to talk about next year. They went from traffic to speed, drugs and youth, emergency management, traffic, school safety were some of the highlights of that. And Chief also mentioned the evidence-based policing. So you're following up on that in the SRO was good. On May 12th is I might not have all my details right. May 12th is the shredding event at the police station from 9 to 12, and you can shred up to 2 bins, shredding documents, and bring 2 non-perishable items.
Okay. Is shredding
Oh,
like
I wrote it
cutting
from
a
your
rug?
notes from that meeting, so it must be good. I'm sure it's right on.
And that's
With pride disposal.
Pride disposal.
Yep.
Yeah, great
So,
community.
Councilor Young, is that like shredding is like cutting a rug?
Cutting a rug.
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's with paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to check on that.
Okay.
Bring those important documents that you don't want other people to see.
Right. Clean out those filing cabinets. May 19th is the Police Foundation Stakeout Boots and Bling Gala from 6 to 9 at the Arts Center. And if you haven't bought your tickets, you really need to. And if you need to see what's going to be there, follow the Police Foundation Facebook page. They've been posting some of the items that are going to be up for auction, and it's just, they got some really good stuff. I'm scared to bring my husband. Have to leave the checkbook at home. Well, yes?
I'm sorry. It's worth mentioning that one of the items that will be up for auction is a duck hunt with the police chief.
Oh, yes.
So-
I was just about to mention that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Is that a duck hunt or like a trip to Autzen Stadium?
No. It's a real duck
A real
hunt.
duck hunt. Okay.
Just with the chief, or is there somebody else involved
No,
in it?
it's going to be hosted by Matt Langer and I.
That's right.
He's a
Okay.
big
Very
duck hunter.
close.
Yeah.
And
Great. And that's all I have for tonight as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Browse?
All right.
Good to catch.
Keeping us guessing. Yeah, just to follow up on the Police Foundation dinner or gala, there are 11 tables left.
11 tables?
11 tables left. So there's still some room, but there's some awesome auction items, and it's for a great cause. So yes, please buy your tickets. So attended the library advisory board meeting. I don't know. I think it was last week, and we were updated again on the strategic plan. I can tell you that our library director is absolutely amazing, and she and her staff, they're already 43% complete with the 3-year plan. Okay, so they're doing an amazing job there. There's this awesome newsletter full of interesting information and lots of different programs and services that are open and free to, I think free in most cases, to all of our citizens and outside the city limits as well. Just this year alone, there have been 439 programs and 22,000 participants, in keeping with the mission of the library. So they're, again, doing a fantastic job. Counselor Garland had already mentioned the Art of the Story, but there's also to celebrate Asian Pacific American Heritage Month on Saturday, May 19th at 1 p.m. there will be a Chinese lion dance. So that sounds pretty interesting to come and check that out. I attended Washington County Thrives Commissioner Forum on April 20th. So as many of you know, we have an election coming up, and I encourage you, if you haven't already done some investigating on the candidates for the at-large position, please do so. There's some interesting arguments out there and discussion points, so please be educated as you vote. Also attended the Sherwood Senior Center Friends Group meeting last Thursday. And this is a dedicated group of individuals that are really looking out for our seniors and have some great things going on. They really want people to come and visit the senior center and come have lunch. They want city staff, they want elected officials, and they want people just to be there and see what's going on in the senior center. And you have that opportunity to do lunch every day of the week. They've got a new chef, Dominic, that I hear is making some absolutely fabulous meals for our seniors. There's a Mother's Day lunch coming up, and again, they really want people to come and see what's going on. I think that's
Thursday.
Well, this coming Thursday is volunteer recognition for the senior center, so Mayor Mays and I will be attending there as the liaison for the senior center. Update that you still have a couple weeks to buy trees at the Rotary Tree Sale, again supporting our community. And Chamber, there is a meeting May 8th at the Sherwood PD. And just wanted to share an experience that Counselor Young and I had last Friday night. We spent 27 hours with the TVFNR, and it was absolutely fabulous. We have got a great group of firefighters in Washington County, or in the district. It was an amazing experience. As I told many of them, if I wasn't so old, I'd go through the academy. It was that great of an experience. So we're very blessed to have men and women who are so dedicated and keeping us safe. But my day started with riding in a Metro ambulance call and ended with a car fire. So turnouts and everything. It was just absolutely, absolutely amazing. So,
Awesome. Councilor Griffin?
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see, last week we had our second meeting for the Sherwood Comprehensive Citizens Advisory Committee to work on the comprehensive plan for the city of Sherwood. We talked about visioning, where we're trying to figure out what direction, what do we want to be when we grow up. We're almost there, right? All the information is on the website. Everything, the schedule is there, all the documents are there, all the links, everything that the staff has provided for us is all on the website. The next Parks and Recreation Board meeting is Monday at 7 p.m. Of course, Kristen just left. She's walked out of the room. It's always a rocking good time. You want to know what's...
She saw you starting to talk.
Yeah, I know. If you want to know what's going on with the parks and the interesting things that they're working on, that's going to be Monday night at 7 o'clock. Let's see, the Sherwood Robin Hood Festival. They're still accepting nominations if you know somebody in the community who is a good knighting potential candidate, someone who is really, busy in the community and devotes a lot of time and is all service oriented and has not yet been knighted. You can still nominate them. You can go to the website. It's robinhoodfestival.org, and you can nominate them. And that's through the 15th of this month of May. So be sure. It's really a lot of fun. They take pictures, and you get on the stage, and your family comes, and it's really great. You get a cool hat. Yes, it's all
photos.
What was that?
Plus, you get a pin. You get some great photo ups.
It's great. It's
People
a ton of fun.
cheer.
I wanted to commend the Sherwood High School drama department for having a fantastic musical, West Side Story. West Side Story. I can't believe we did that in the city of Sherwood. Just think a few years ago, we started with Bye Bye Birdie. That was the first musical in 16 years at the high school. And that was, what was that, like 6 years ago? Wasn't that long ago? Not even that long ago, was it?
No.
16.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Before that, 16 years, no musical. And they did West Side Story, and they danced as well as, it was amazing what they did. It was a great show. Also, this summer, Hello Dolly is being put on by the Sherwood Foundation for the Arts. I should know that. I helped start the foundation. And that'll be the last weekend of June. And they're always looking for volunteers. You know, if you want to get in to see the show for free, you can come be an usher and measure, sand chairs, how tall they are and all that good stuff. There'll be wine and there'll be treats and there'll be great music. And Hello Dolly is fabulous. Dolly herself is fabulous. And that'll be coming up this summer. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, there's one more. Councilor Rosner?
Thank you, Mayor Mays. I just want to point something out. I got a couple things, but I was at the Willamette Intake Facility Board meeting with Councilor Garland. He failed to mention one thing. He was elected as the vice chair for the committee.
Making sure that water flows. Excellent.
Yes, so thought I'd point that out. This will be the third time I've talked about this, but the May 5th is the old-timey engine show over at the Arts Center, which is over there. Yes. Did I get that right? Which I encourage everyone to go check that out. It's a lot of fun, a lot of old engines and really interesting stuff. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we have a new fence at the Smockville house over by the Moorback house. The local contractor, Jerry Losley, donated some time to help put that fence in, and some other people donated time to actually paint the fence before they put it up, which was great. It looks great over there. I haven't mentioned this before, but I did want to mention I'm on two committees at the League of Oregon Cities with a couple of the staff. One of them is the Transportation Committee, and the other is the General Administration Committee, General Government Committee. But it's an important process. The League of Oregon City represents cities all across Oregon. And what they do in these committees is develop their agenda to lobby at the state level for changes and different things that we need as cities so we can operate effectively. They also do a great job of defending our home rule, which is an important subject too. So there's some really interesting, fascinating stuff going on there. I think, Joe, we got a meeting on Thursday? Yes, so that process.
Priorities will come out of the committees, and then cities will be asked around the state, including you as a council, to prioritize what should be the top 4 or 5 priorities for the league in the 2019 session. So it's a very good process. There's a lot of input. Cities, small, large, and medium, are all involved. And Tim's done a good job as a new councilor, kind of learning how things operate and how frustrating things can be sometimes in Oregon, but it's a way of making a difference. So the league really values the input from its members, including us. So, and also the league will be holding a regional meeting here in early June that we're hosting for the metro area. They have a new executive director that many of us have not met yet, and I encourage the council, if you can make that meeting, that would be really good. I sent you a date earlier this week. So, sorry, Tim, I had to piggyback on that.
No, thank you. That was perfect. And I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you. A couple brief things. The mayors of our region certainly like to get together. So, in the last week, had the Metro Mayors Consortium get together. Bunch of rabble-rousers that they are. The main topic of conversation, as well as the Washington County Mayors meeting that we had, was discussing the potential upcoming Metro bond for housing. It's an ever-evolving thing, and as of end of last week, it's tentatively a $500 million bond. Metro currently is tentatively thinking about taking 10% off the top for capital land acquisition, and 7% for administration, and a 3-week time frame to give some feedback. So it's still morphing, but kind of the collective consensus is it's still evolving from what mayors and their communities think. But there's certainly concern about the short time window to give feedback. There's concern about establishing a whole new bureaucracy at Metro to potentially administer this fund instead of using existing housing authorities in the 3 counties. So lots of concerns and feedback and more thoughtful conversation to be had. But that's rolling because they have some pretty tight deadlines coming up with Metro. The Chamber of Commerce is accepting nominations for their annual awards, so go on their website and nominate a community member, citizen member, business. They have a lot. They give out a handful of different awards to recognize wonderful businesses and individuals in our community, so please take the time and do that. Next week, I'm going to D.C. to advocate on our behalf for money. See if we can get some public safety and or capital construction funds for our community, and also support the regional effort between Washington County and Metro and TriMet to work on the bigger regional funding efforts as well. So that'll be a few days next week before we roll into budget meeting. I'm sure there's something else, but we'll just call it good. Any other things for the good of the order?
Can I piggyback on Councilor Browse's TBFNR? Because I don't know how I forgot that. I think my body was still recovering, and so I'm a little brain dead. But that was just an amazing experience. So we spent 24 hours. We spent the first 8 hours at the training center. We got to experience a little bit of what our firefighters do and wear. We got to wear the turnouts, wear the air pack. We got to pull hoses. We got to hook up fire hydrants or hoses to the fire hydrants. We got to drive the truck, which was really cool.
The best part.
Are you licensed to drive such a vehicle?
No, but it was in the training center, and I didn't hit any cones.
So you weren't off road or on the road?
No, in the training center.
And very slowly.
We got to
think about my fellow members of the community, in
the training center. We got to use the tools that they use for extrications out of vehicles, and we cut off a top of a car.
Jaws of life.
Well, there's 3 different tools. There's the cutters, the spreaders, and the sawzall. We got to use them all. And then they had a fire in a container that we all got to practice using the hose on. Then we all left there about 2 and went to different firehouses. I was lucky to come to Sherwood, and I had calls starting from 5:30 till 4:30 in the morning. So, and you hear that little buzz, and you have 1 minute, man. You get your shoes on, and you better be in that truck, or they're leaving without you. They didn't leave without me because I made it in the truck before the firefighters. No, so I was ready, but it was just fabulous. And I think that really what I wanted to say was the professionalism that these firefighters, these people show to every person that they meet on their calls, and the calls vary. I mean, you got elderly, young. I remember this very first call we went on, and they had to basically deconstruct this person's living room, move all their furniture just so they could get the gurney in. And then as Metro's putting the patient into the ambulance, 2 of the firefighters said, well, let's go back in and put their living room back together. I mean, they could easily have just left and left that for the family to deal with. And it's just amazing. I had a really good time. So.
Awesome. That is cool. And one heck of a good ad for our friends at TVFNR. Anything else for the good of the collective? Seeing none, it is not even 8 o'clock yet. This is details, but everyone else gets to go. So, hearing that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.